and welcome to the program. Kyiv ranked 118th in the annual Global Liveability Index 2018, released by the UK magazine The Economist this summer. The survey ranks 140 cities in 5 categories: infrastructure, stability, education, healthcare, culture, and environment. It analyzes which cities provide the best and worst living conditions. This year, Kyiv gained 56 points out of 100 in those criteria, compared to 47.8 in 2017, when the Ukrainian capital held 131st place in the rating. To talk more about this and more, we welcome Dmytro Davtian, the Deputy Chairman of Kyiv City State Administration. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So, what makes Kyiv special? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, first of all, I think it's a historical city. We all live here, and there's big improvements happening in the city in the last years. Of course, as you see, there's big improvements in transport infrastructure. There's big improvements in education, in healthcare, many hospitals being repaired and renovated, many new preschools and schools being opened and renovated, and of course there's big changes in transport, which I'm in charge of. So for transport infrastructure, there's big changes in purchase of new rolling stock, there's changes in roads repairs, there's changing in lighting in the city, as the city is becoming brighter, cleaner, and much better to live in.
Right. And so just as I mentioned in the introduction, the Global Liveability Index, Ukraine has moved up in the ranking. Kyiv has moved up in the ranking. Why do you think Kyiv has improved so much over the past couple of years?
Well, I think the mayor has set high standards for the team, and the team is working very well together, and it has targets which it needs to achieve in order to move up. And for us, it's a big priority, as all of us live in the city, and we really want to make the Ukrainian capital the best city in Europe, the best city in Ukraine. Of course, it's the capital, it's historical, and we want it to be a very, very good city.
So what kind of projects are you currently working to develop, and what sort of strategy do you have when you approach a project such as roads? Obviously, before, Kyiv had some very, very terrible roads, especially not in the center. So how do you approach such a massive project? What kind of strategy do you employ?
Well, I think the most important is what you said, is that all roads were in a bad state. So Kyiv has an idea where it needs to have European roads. And what we're doing is we're replacing all the big roads first. We need to make a semicircle or circle in the center of the city. Then we have the Kyiv Ring Road, which just last week the Cabinet of Ministers passed half of it, which belonged to the Kyiv region, now belongs to Kyiv, and we'll repair it, because if you go on the Kyiv Ring Road, you will see that some parts are fully repaired. It's a highway, like European level highway, and then you keep driving on it, and then you fall and it just has potholes and it's destroyed road totally. So we initiated from the Cabinet of Ministers to give us this road so we can repair it, and we'll have a full ring road, because it's very difficult to explain to people when they're driving on a good road and then they go on a bad road, and it's difficult to explain who the road belongs to, who's in charge of the city or the region. So we decided to take it on and to have it on our balance and to repair it in the coming years. We have done this year close to 300 kilometers of road repairs.
How many are there in total? In
Kyiv, there's 2,600 kilometers of roads, of road network.
And you've completed 300 out of 2,000? 300
this year. So in the last 3 years, there's been about 800 kilometers which have been repaired of roads. These are not just repairing of the road, of the asphalt on the road, it's also the pavements, the lighting on the street. We're improving the LED lighting, we're changing everything to LED lighting. This year we did about 120 objects with a change of lighting to LED. It's about replacement of 10,000 light bulbs to LED light bulbs. To LED lights in total. So this is a very big improvement. And this next year we have in the budget figure double the sum which we had this year. So next year we'll be able to do around 25,000 lights changed to LED lighting, which makes it of course much brighter, and you're walking in the middle of the night like it's the middle of the day.
Right, and that's very important. How do you approach neighborhoods that aren't necessarily in the center, such as, you know, at the end of the Green Line, Metro Sirets, where they're closer to kind of less, more suburban areas?
There's no now and in the coming years there's no priority if it's the center or not the center. It's just the city. The first parts, of course, were done in the center. The main streets were done first of all, and now definitely after the changes which we have already done, we're not taking any priorities. We're just moving. So we set a map for each year where we're going, how we're going, and there needs to be a continuation of the project. So we need to do one road after another road after another one, not just around the city in different places, because it needs to have some kind of continuity, sort of thing. So this is the target. At start, maybe last year, there was different big projects done around the city, but now we're starting to put it all on the map onto a continuous situation.
Have you had a lot of feedback from local residents who don't necessarily live in the center but kind of reside in the more suburban areas? Have you had a lot of feedback over changes that they have noticed, perhaps parks, roads, lighting, as you said before?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of feedback. This year especially. The last year there was a lot. This year there's a lot, because this year we've done many parks. And people are enjoying them in the summer, of course, and now in the winter they're enjoying because it's snowing, it's beautiful, and so on. It's Christmas time soon, so people are very much enjoying this, and it's become much cleaner. And there's definitely places where you can take a good road, drive to a good place, spend some time with your family, with friends, and so on. So I think people in general are enjoying. Of course, we do get bad reviews, as you would say, of people who are not enjoying. For example, we're changing the LED lighting and it's very nice and bright and clean, and the streets are repaired and everything, and people saying, oh, it's too bright, I can't sleep at home, and so on.
But you'll always have that.
Yeah,
you can't please everyone at the same time.
And sometimes you have commentaries along the line that, oh, you're not doing the road correctly, you should do it like this or like this, Yeah. So everybody is a specialist in different areas. Of course, we do take into consideration when we get good commentaries. Of course, we take it into consideration and we look for so on, but you can't make everybody happy. We understand that, but I think the majority of people are more than happy at what we're doing, and the team is trying very hard to work. And the mayor sets very high standards. He lived many years abroad, and he's seen it how it should be, and he sets the target for Kyiv to be the best city in Europe.
Right. I think before looking back at the mayor's career, he lived for a long time. He worked in Germany, I believe.
Yeah, I think Germany and United States, I believe.
So I suppose he. What sort of strategy, and based on his experience and his life, living abroad, what's the strategy in terms of renewable, eco-friendly living for Kyiv?
I just want to go back to what you said. He came back from Hamburg, I think 1 or 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he said, he goes, I was walking around the city and looking. He goes, and our city and the lighting which we're doing is by far brighter and lighter than Hamburg. He goes, I'm very happy at that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that's actually nice feedback. So does he speak to the municipality there as well to kind of get
I think because of his status and he's well known everywhere, I think he's welcomed by all the cities in the world pretty much, and they all want to see him, and it's very good because they share their experience with us, which is very important, because we're not inventing a bicycle. We want to take the best experiences which have been done around the world and implement them here, which of course I think for now is the target. Then when we reach a certain level, we should become innovators.
Sure.
But at the moment, I think we should just take the best experiences which have been done around the world and implement them in Kyiv.
And that's the most important thing. Yeah. So what can you tell us about any other projects, potentially stadiums, libraries? I've seen around Kyiv a lot of kind of libraries that have been broken down and aren't necessarily located in the best areas, and perhaps this is an area that could be improved.
So I think it's very important because in Kyiv, not all buildings which you see are on the balance sheet of the Kyiv administration. So many belong to different government agencies, ministries, and so on. And this is, at some stage, this is a problem because you see the city being renovated in generally roads, buildings, pavements, lighting, schools, and so on. And then all of a sudden you see one building which is not in such a good state, which should be repaired. And then you find that it's on a balance of some state agency or state company and so on. They don't have the financial ability to repair it and so on. And then we go into the process when we ask them to give it to the city, give it back to the city, so we can invest and we can renovate, and they don't want to do that. So we go into processes of trying to persuade them to give it to us because they're not giving it the full value it should have. So we wanted to come to the city balance and want to repair it and so on. But
how does that work? Do you buy it from them, or how does that
No, we
work?
don't. We don't buy it from them, because most of the buildings which you see are belonging to the Kyiv. They belong to the municipality, but they've been given out for use for like lease. They pay 1 hryvnia a year.
Oh, I see.
Because they're government agencies, but it's been held by them for 10 years or 20 years, and they have another 20 years on, you know.
Of course.
And we now tell them, guys, look, you're not using it properly, give it back to us, we'll repair it and we'll make some good use of it. And this is a problem because so basically everyone is sitting pretty much in the city's buildings, but they're not using them.
But they're
as
not
they should.
necessarily repairing and doing the much needed upkeep.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, and it sounds like you guys have a lot of plans ahead. So good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We've been joined in the studio by Dmytro Davtian, the Deputy Chairman of Kyiv City Administration. You're watching UATV.